So I'm recording this video today to demonstrate how I'm using my Tonal to do some physical therapy on my hamstring, and primarily to explain to the crew over at Tonal what issues I'm running into and what new moves need to be programmed into the machine to help me do this. And I'm sure there's a large market for a lot of other people to do this also. So first off, the thing that I had to do was get this ankle strap. Now I got this ankle strap from Etsy, just kind of a plain old regular ankle strap with a connection for the Tonal. Pretty sweet, a little nice Velcro strap. So this is something that Tonal should absolutely unequivocally be selling because it's really a critical part of doing some necessary leg moves on the Tonal that aren't otherwise possible. All right, so let me go through my exercise set that I'm using for physical therapy. And the specific physical therapy is that a blown deadlift, shall we say, resulted in a tear up and down my leg, but primarily what we've determined the issue is the tendons that are holding my hamstring on they couldn't bear any load. So I'm working on getting those tendons that hold my hamstring on to be able to handle a better load. And then that way my hamstring will be able to do the work that right now all of my other muscles are doing poorly. So when I do these exercises, I'll just go ahead and put the bench perpendicular to the Tonal, and right now I'm going to go ahead and set it as custom, and then in custom I'll bring up all movements, and then when you're in all movements and you don't know any better, you're just going to use the hand where did it go? Just the handle move is what you're going to do. So I click on handle move, and I'm just going to put 10 reps in right now. I would usually put 40 reps in because I'm going to be alternating. But I'm just going to go ahead and put in 10 reps. Then I'm going to set the kind of one of the most traditional places you would put your Tonal arms, basically down on the floor. So this is very common. Then this is a little bit of the tricky part, is you need to put the ankle straps on, which is not without its charm. You're gonna have to just connect them to the machine like you would connect the handles. But you have to remember that once you put the ankle straps on, you can't turn around, and it's very easy to fall down. So you'll see how I set myself up with the ankle straps. And so, all right, so now I've got the ankle straps on. So what I need to do is I'm gonna hit start lifting, and it's gonna tell me to connect my Apple Watch, which, to be honest, makes life a lot easier than this, because when you're laying down, you need to be able to turn your weights on and off, and it's a little bit easier to do with the Apple Watch connection. So I probably should have set this up before we got started, because sometimes it takes an inordinate amount of time. Okay, there we go. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this for 10 pounds, because I basically can't put a lot of weight on it yet. But the first movement is going to be, let's see here, this would be a prone straight leg lift. So I simply lay down on the bench, and I'm going to lift my legs one at a time, basically straight up. So 1, and the Tonal, oh, I'm sorry, I need to turn the weight on. So I turn the weight on with my Apple Watch, and then simply a straight leg lift. Okay, so that was the first movement. The second movement is roughly the same, except this time you're going to do the movement with your legs bent, and your legs are going to end up being pointed straight up. But in terms of what we're doing on the tonal, it's roughly the same thing. You just lay forward, set yourself up, and now in this case your knees are going to bend up. Turn my weight on to start, and go. So essentially the same thing. Working the hamstrings and working the hamstring connection. Okay, that's all pretty straightforward. Now the next movement, and I'll turn the weight off on my Apple Watch here again. The next movement is basically going to be the equivalent of a curl that you would do with your hamstring instead of your biceps. So, well, these are just demonstration purposes, so I'm only going to go up to 20 pounds. I would generally do more than this. Here you're going to want to bench out a little bit further from you because your knees need to be off of the bench in order to do the movement correctly. And once again, just alternating. So this is the next move. So far this is the third of the moves that should be programmed into the tonal. Okay. The next move is going to require me to change position, so I'm going to pull the ankle connections off, and I'm going to move the bench away, and I'm going to put my office chair up, because now obviously an office chair is not part of the tonal package, so that might get a little bit weird, and I'm going to drop back to 10 pounds. And basically, we're going to be doing roughly the same types of motions, except at a different angle. So I don't know what you would want to call this. Maybe a standing kickback, possibly. But that one might end up with some lawsuits. You might not want to do that one because you could. This could get tricky. So I'll turn the weight on. It was on. Let me turn the weight on and basically just kick back. And then the last tonal move would be, I'm going to spin the chair around. You're roughly doing the same thing, but now you're going to do it with bent legs. So pushing back that way. So I guess this would be a standing bent leg kickback. This is one where you could probably actually use the bench that came with the tonal to stabilize yourself. Okay. The next couple moves that occur are going to be take advantage of a Bosu ball, and the Bosu ball is something that you might not want to include in the repertoire from tonal, but basically what this allows me to do is the equivalent of the glute bridge stuff, but instead of working the glutes, you're going to focus on the hamstrings by keeping your legs straight. So I'll leave my Bosu ball where it is, and Basically, this is kind of an off-tonal move, is to just basically do the equivalent of a glute bridge, but instead of putting your feet down on the floor, you're using the Bosu ball to give you some elevation, and there you're focusing on your hamstrings a little bit more than you would otherwise. The other off-tonal move here would be basically a hamstring bridge, let's call it, a Bosu hamstring bridge with a march. So it is my right hamstring that is where the damage is. So that one is difficult. This one is easy. This one is difficult, and so on. So an off-tonal move that you could possibly program into the machine if you want to coordinate with the Bosu ball, or maybe have your own branded version of that. The one on tonal move here, this is the one that doesn't work, and I can't figure out how to make it work. But there is a glute bridge with weight. So you get the bar, and you get your foam roller, and we're going to attach the bar with roller in. And the move that's already programmed into the tonal is to do a glute bridge with some weight. So I'm going to put, actually let me take the weight off. I'm going to put 10 pounds on and try to do the equivalent with the Bosu ball to focus on my hamstrings instead of my glutes. So now the problem though is when I do that, the tonal is not going to understand what's going on, and it's not going to count, it's going to give up. But I'm going to put the weight on, and then I will do kind of the hamstring bridges. And you can see on the machine that the motion is registering, but, oh, well, I take that back. Yesterday it didn't work, today it's working. All right, so this move is registering, but again, I'm just at handle free moves, and yeah, it thinks I'm still doing 1 rep. It's telling me to complete my rep, but this is something that I think could easily be programmed in. All you need to do is set up the exercise for it. So basically that right there, now granted I would have done a lot more repetitions, I would have held, instead of just making the movement, I would have isometrically held it in position for a longer time. But all of this can be assisted with the tonal, but right now it's not. I just had everything kind of as a handle move free lift. You folks at Tonal, really program these moves in, and you need to start selling the ankle straps, because that's going to give a whole new range of leg exercise possibilities on the Tonal that right now are not possible. I mean, they're possible with the handle move, free handle move, but I would like to do everything elegantly through the Tonal.